Oh, okay. We still can. Okay.
Right, they need to take the mirror image off.
Good evening. Can we please stand for pledge allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible.
Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. Moment of silence for prisoners of war, men and women missing in action. Thank you. Secretary Phelps, can I get a roll call, please? Thank you.
Counselor Heyman,
Here.
Counselor Blackwell,
Present.
Counselor Andrusco,
Here.
Counselor Sadiq, I'm sure he's probably on his way, Counselor Faralia,
Here.
Counselor Silva,
Here.
President Burke,
Here.
Secretary Billups is here, Counselor Wagner,
Here.
Vice President Tunis,
Here.
and I think Counselor Wentz is on Zoom?
Yep,
That's
I'm here.
correct.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Thank you.
Great. Thank
And
you.
I see you, Counselor Sadiq, thank you. Thank you. And we have our officers in the back. Hi, guys. We have Alexis, we have Brianna, I remembered your name this time. We have our Honorable Mayor Keffer, Barbara Ann Keffer, and we have our Solicitor Colleen. And I'm so sorry, I do not remember your name. And Steve.
Thank you, Secretary Phelps. Next up for,
wait,
I'm
I
sorry.
forgot. And we have the residents of Upper Darby. I cannot forget you guys.
Thank you. Next up, 4.0, rules of media decorum. Upper Darby residents have the opportunity to speak for 3 minutes. Residents are prohibited from making threats, using profanity, or acting in a manner that would impede or prevent the conduct of business of the meeting. Public forum should not exceed 30 minutes. 5.0, approval of the minutes of November. Approval of the minutes for the committee meeting November 1st, special meeting November 1st, council meeting November 15th, special meeting November 15th, special meeting November 29th. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
nays? Thank you. 6.0, public forum. Secretary Phelps. Thank you.
So, thank you. So, when you come up to the podium, can you just please state your name and your address, and you will have 3 minutes. First is Nicole Jenkins.
Nicole Jenkins, 628 Beverly Boulevard. I just want to say that, Barbara Ann, I appreciate all that you've done for the township, and I wish you well in the next chapter of your life. My husband couldn't be here, but he would like you to reserve a space on your calendar for his retirement ceremony. Thank you so much for what you've done for the township. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Dimitri Sonita. Samba, I'm sorry.
Hello. My name is Dimitri Samda. I live at 4026 Berry Avenue, and I go to Upper Darby High School as a senior. I also intern at the township, and I just want to thank Ms. Barbara Ann for giving me the opportunity to work here with her. And she answered a lot of questions I had about the field, and then also gave me a great opportunity, like speaking here right now. I never would have knew about this. So I just wanted to thank her since she's leaving, and also wish her well in her future. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Peggy Wilson.
Peggy Wilson, 824 Drexel Avenue, Drexel Hill. 5 years ago, if anybody wanted to watch a live stream of this meeting, they had to go to a Facebook page I administered and watch the feed from my iPhone. 5 years ago, if anyone wanted to refer to something in the administrative code, they had to submit a right-to-know request, wait for the pages to be duplicated, and pay for the copies. 5 years ago, my tax bill didn't fit in the return envelope. 5 years ago, I had to stockpile quarters for parking in my car. This required breaking dollar after dollar after dollar whenever I shopped. 5 years ago, there were hundreds of fewer trees in Upper Darby Township, especially in 19082. There's a whole lot more, but I only have 3 minutes. Most of our roads and highways are built on the paths forged by the Native Americans centuries ago. In these 4 years, you've laid out the path for Ed and all your future successors. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you. Next is Bonnie Heller.
Bonnie Hallam, 4719 Woodland Avenue, Drexel Hill, PA. I haven't been here recently because I do not feel safe in this place due to the hostile and aggressive behavior of some people who attend, so I chose to stay at home and watch. In addition, the palace intrigue with members of council plotting and conspiring, and I heard this myself when someone didn't know what I was doing in the ladies' room, and atrocious, disrespectful behavior displayed by our elected officials seriously makes me both physically and mentally distressed. So I chose to stay home and watch. Tonight, I needed to come because it is the last session in which Barbara Ann Keffer will preside as our mayor. I say our mayor because despite what some people have consistently espoused, Barbara Ann Keffer has been the mayor for all Upper Darby residents over the past 4 years, breaking a long-standing, unspoken course of action by previous mayors that has marginalized some and brought benefits to others. I know I will hear grumbling by some for saying this, but truth is truth. Change is hard, and yet it is the only constant in the world. I understand loyalty. And if there is one thing I can say about those who have been hanging on to Tom Macozy over the past years, you have been very loyal to him. But things have changed in Upper Darby for the better for many residents, despite what the consistent loyal naysayers say. All districts in our township have seen improvements, both physically and in representation. All voices are being heard, and actions have been taken to address the needs and challenges of all community members. I don't need to elaborate on all the changes for the good that have been made by Mayor Keffer. She needs no one to stand up here and defend her or what she has done with her time as mayor. For the past 4 years, she has taken the slings and arrows of a few hostile, angry naysayers who have blamed her for the bad behavior of residents, who have blamed her for the inconvenience caused by the state of Pennsylvania fixing our streets, blamed her for the long-standing irresponsibility of landlords, blamed her for everything they could cook up that had no basis in reality, and she did not crumble or stop working for the people of Upper Darby. I came here tonight to affirm that I did not misplace my trust and loyalty when I voted or continued to support Barbara Ann Keffer. She has been a groundbreaker and amazing model of agency for women and an example of humility, compassion, and hard work for all the residents of Upper Darby. Barbara Ann Keffer is leaving a legacy for Upper Darby that is not marked by her name on signs throughout the township, not marked by photo-op pictures of her events, not marked by buildings or streets with her name, but with critical changes to internal and external infrastructure that will secure a more stable, equitable, and sustainable future for everyone in this community based on empirical evidence. And that's the truth, whether naysayers acknowledge it or not. That was her job, and she did it very well. Thank you, Mayor Keffer.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is John Vazari.
Good evening. John Vazari, 353 Kirks Lane. Before I get into two things that I want to speak about, I do want to wish everyone who is leaving council or this dais this evening well. That includes Mayor Keffer, Ryan Burke as President of Council, Lisa Faralia as Councilwoman, and Alexis Conchetti as Municipal Clerk. Oh, I'm sorry, and Sadiq. I do want to ask a couple questions with regards to what is on the agenda for today, and then a separate question. So there's one point, the ordinance to reallocate, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. 1.7 million in ARPA funds were allocated for nonprofit grants and 1 million for small business grants. And based on the information that I've obtained from Right to Know request, it appears that 1.5 has been allocated to 23 different NFPs. Has the remaining 174,000 been allocated to the other NFPs? And where is that, the official list published? And if it isn't, who can provide that list? So that's one of my questions. And then I want to also ask about those who received allocations as part of that. As a stipulation for receiving the grant, are the recipients required to spend those funds to benefit Upper Darby residents? I ask this question because there are several recipients that have received multiple allocations for multiple projects. For example, Foundation of Delaware County, who was approved for 3 grants totaling $166,400. While they cover all of Delco, how can we be sure this $166,400 will be going to benefit Upper Darby, and what oversight is in place? Did this organization receive ARPA funds from the county's ARPA funds?
So John, the first question, I believe, 1.5, there's a little over 200,000 or less of 200,000 that the committee, approved, and then the other 200,000 is still in a group of money that UHY, we just never had another round or just never had enough money. So that would go back into, the rest of the funds, the 200,000. And I don't believe, Michelle, that there was too many or tight guidelines on how much they were spending. We were just assuming that all 15 or 23 organizations were going to do good work in Upper Darby, or based in Upper Darby. I believe there's quite a few on Garrett Road that are based in Upper Darby. There's a few based in Drexel Hill also. So not so sure about the guidelines or how much guidelines were out there on how much money would go directly or to follow how much money that we gave them that would go into UHY looking over them. But I know UHY did their job, and unfortunately, some of our local nonprofits did not, qualify or, finish at the end of the line. So unfortunately.
And then what about the 1 million for the small businesses? There was a line item.
There's a line item for that. So that, I don't believe that is under the nonprofit. I believe
Under
that
the same ordinance.
it's under the same ordinance. So that small business would be up to the administration as far as I could see, just like the rest of the ordinances that were passed, the last 5 ordinances, that would be in the administration's hands.
Okay. Thanks.
I hope that answers your question, John.
Thanks.
Just to answer your question a little bit further, UHY does have oversight, and to the Delco organization that you're talking about, they are supposed to give that information to UHY that they're doing businesses in Upper Darby. Yes, yes. Thank you for asking that question. Next is Don Fields.
Don Fields, 834 Blythe Avenue. Mayor Keffer, They say the first person through the wall is the one that gets bloodied. And sister, you got bloodied. But what your detractors don't understand is the following. We Democrats, right? We Democrats who now hold elected office, those of us that swept in November, or those that won in 2021, 2019, 2017, 2015, and 2013, we are all here because of you. We all owe our victories in a small way or in a large way to you. In 2009, I actually tried to talk you out of running, but you kept trying, and eventually you kept winning. You beat perhaps the two biggest names in Upper Darby politics. Barbara Ann Keffer did that. No matter how loud they yell or how quietly they whisper, Mayor Keffer won at large twice, and she won the mayoral seat. She was the first Democrat and the first woman, and no one can take that away. Thank you, Mayor Keffer, for all your hard work and dedication to this community. We are better for it. I do have something here from Diane McManus. She couldn't make it. Barbara Ann kept her cool during the pandemic, remained in communication with citizens, explained what needed to be done at each stage and why. She didn't let her haters pull her down, although I'm sure they must have been a source of stress. Barbara Ann Keffer has accomplished an impressive list of positive changes in Upper Darby. Wishing her all the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Tim Toonstra.
Tim Toonstra, 610 Foss, Drexel Hill. I first met Barbara Ann when I was making phone calls for a campaign. And that was my contribution for many campaigns. When I met Barbara Ann, I met someone who was far more dedicated, far more determined, far more indefatigable. Now, I'm an English teacher, so just to help out with indefatigable, it is someone who cannot be defeated, no matter what. Someone who never gives up. Someone who is always there and on whom you can depend when you need somebody to depend on. So I want to thank you, Barbara Ann. Thank you very much for getting me involved in local politics to this extent compared to this one. And to that, I thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you. Next is Michelle Schofield.
Good evening. Michelle Schofield, 519 Millbank Road in Upper Darby. I just want to say thank you for each of the council people that's going out this year. So thank you for your service, Sadiq, Lisa. Who else is going out? I think that's about it. Oh, and Brian. So thank you. This year has been, this term, not year, but this term has been a lesson well learned. It was a lesson well taught. Most of the time in life, you get the lesson and then you go back and you review the theory. I've learned so much from being here, being able to stand here to talk to you guys, to being able to talk to you and get to know each of you personally and work with you individually. And I also wanted to speak on Barbara Ann Keffer's accomplishments during this last term. This term for all of you was not easy. We entered this term during the pandemic. Who knew that was coming? But what I admire about each one of you is your determination to show up to each and every meeting. Whether y'all agreed or disagreed, you showed up. Your tenacity to stand firm in some of the things that you believe, but being able to get things done collectively, whether it was private or here in public. When I met Barbara Ann Keffer, we actually met cleaning up the street. That's how we met. And so when I would hear people say negative things about her, I just knew you on another level, so I would defend you on a higher level. And even during this term, doing 13 years, my son is 13, so I probably have known you about 13, 14 years now, you still continue to clean up the streets. You don't see most people, once they start to elevate, do those things. I didn't see many of those sitting behind his desk show up to do those things, but you did. You stayed involved in different committees, different commissions that you put in. When I would show up at different meetings, I would see you there. So I want to say thank you for being the groundbreaker, for breaking the ceiling for a lot of things. You're very humble and you're very quiet. When people say, she doesn't do this, she doesn't do that. And then I would turn and I say, well, what are you going to help her do? And this is how we start to get more people involved and to get people involved to know exactly how this works. That is my commitment, to carry out your legacy, because that's what you wanted people to know, how this works and to get involved. So thank you for encouraging me to dream big and to go after things that I just did not even think was possible. So I want to thank you very much. Good luck on everything that you have planned for the future. We'll still continue to keep in touch, and I still continue to keep in touch with each and every last one of you. And I know that as neighbors, because that's what we are first and foremost, that we will still continue to do the work here in Upper Darby Township. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Next is Jennifer Hallam.
Jennifer Hallam, 4719 Woodland Avenue, Drexel Hill. First of all, I'm a bit of a pedant, so I'm going to fact check my friend Don Fields and mention that there was a former mayor of Upper Darby who was a woman, but Barbara Ann second is pretty good too, and definitely the first woman Democrat to be mayor. So stop wasting my time, Don. I would just like to say that I am an art historian and a filmmaker and a visual person, and people have commented on a lot of what you've done, Mayor Keffer, for the township, and I just want to comment on the visible changes that you have made in the township. You have changed the landscape, and that includes everything from beautifying the area around the municipal building to planting more trees to getting muralists from the local community to come out and paint electric boxes. I saw the first one in person, the first one that I had seen in person the other day, and it was beautiful, and it reminded me of you, and I will be reminded every time I pass one of those of your contributions. I also have a statement here from Jennifer Toof, who could not be here tonight, that I'm going to read on her behalf. Dear Mayor Keffer, on behalf of so many residents of Upper Darby Township, we sincerely thank you for your leadership and wish you all the best for the future. You have made so many significant contributions to this township. You reinvested in and redeveloped parks into spaces that residents actually care about and want to spend time in. More trees have been planted in the past 4 years than in the 20 previous years. Under your leadership, Upper Darby was brought into the 21st century with updated financial software, online payment options, and ADA accessibility. And a center was created for one-stop access to all township services. We will remember you for your dedication to the community and commitment to embracing our magnificently diverse township, which truly is the world in one place. We thank you, Mayor Keffer, and we wish you nothing but the best. And I'll agree with Jennifer on all of those points. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Maria Sabia, sorry.
Hi, my name is Maria Sabir. I live at 139 South Fairview. It's very uncomfortable to come here to the township meeting for me today because I really want to talk about something that's very emotional as being a mother. And my daughter was up here about a month ago, and she addressed the board regarding deplorable areas in Upper Darby. And when she left, she was approached by one of your council members and told her that she couldn't talk about that here. This is about politics. And then she was told that she make Black women look bad. My daughter has a BA in communication. She has a master in broadcasting journalism, and she works for a national television station. I think she makes all women look good. And coming from that, that was very wrong for someone to say. And then they're going to turn around and tell her that she's being a Uncle Tom or something. And Uncle Tom, my daughter don't have to be an Uncle Tom for nobody. She don't have to prove herself to nobody but herself. And I just think that that was so wrong that she was told that. And she, you know, was told that not to let other people influence her. She's just talking to the other residents, but they gonna assume that she's having them influencing her. Nobody influenced her to come up here. She came up here on her own will. So I just want you guys to know that if we as residents come up to you guys as members, we shouldn't have to feel threatened that we can't come up and speak with what we want to speak about. So I just ask if things can get a little better around here than having someone approach a resident that way, maybe approach a resident in a better manner. And that's all I would like to say. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm so sorry that that happened. I'm sorry that that happened to you, to your daughter, and to you.
I normally don't come to meetings, but when I do come to meetings, I come here to get some answers for some problems that's in Upper Darby, not to be told that I'm, or to be silent.
We can't hear her if she's not at the mic.
All right.
Those on Zoom can't hear her if she's not at the mic.
Okay, all right.
And
Go
I
ahead.
just want to say,
Go ahead.
I'm really sorry that happened to her daughter. It's unacceptable.
Okay, go ahead. Come on. Come on.
Call him out, put it on record.
Go ahead. Floor's yours.
Okay. Are you asking me what council member it was?
Public
Absolutely.
is.
It was Councilwoman Blackwell. And I'm just hurt as a resident, and I'm hurt as a mother.
I'm
Because
sorry
I think that that should not have been done that way.
I'm really sorry, ma'am. Really sorry.
That's unacceptable.
Thank you. Next is Andrew Heyman.
Oh, hey. Thank you.
Excuse me, Secretary, I would like to make a statement for the record. That wasn't the gist of the conversation, just for the record. That wasn't the gist of the conversation. Okay? That's just for the record, for the public record. That wasn't the gist of the conversation.
Okay, Councilman Hamm.
Mayor Keffer, I know you're used to coming in here and getting yelled at and embarrassed. Tonight, I'm here to embarrass you in a different way. I wanted to start out by giving you a present. In Jewish tradition, it's bad luck to give cut flowers. Cut flowers die. Living ones don't die. They continue on, and just like your 10 years of public service to this community, this plant's going to live a long time. I'm told orchids live a long time. but I'm not a green thumb, so. But I also wanted to thank some other members of council tonight who are here. First off, Councilor Faralia, it has been a pleasure serving with you. And I know I've said it to you privately, but I wanted to do this publicly. The plaques that I gave to you and to Councilman Siddiq were purchased by members of council, not with taxpayer dollars. We bought them and we wanted to give them to you as our friends. We've sat on other sides of the aisle in some cases, or opposite sides, but it's been a pleasure. And I'm lucky to have both of you as my friends. That'll continue even after you leave the dais. And thanks for your time. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you. Next is Joanne Namava.
Joanne Namavong, 133 North Pennock. I have a couple questions. What's the status of our audit? I'm going to ask it every time.
Anybody on the finance committee know the status of the audit?
No.
Okay. Mayor Keffer, any status on the audit?
So, I mean, I don't have the status up to the minute, but just so everybody knows, normally the CAA would be here to answer questions that you're asking. So CAO is not allowed to be at this meeting, so it's hard to answer
Okay, but it's like,
questions like that.
it's over 9 months late. Okay. Seeing that it seems unlikely that Upper Darby could get a TAN without a completed audit, will Upper Darby have enough money to make it to March when real estate taxes start coming in without dipping into ARPA money? Or will we run into the same problem we ran into in 2022? Does anybody know? If you don't know, it's fine. It's just questions I want to put out there for people to think about. Next.
Brian, excuse me, Brian, do you have any answer on that? Okay,
I couldn't hear you.
okay.
Okay, all right. Has the budget ordinance or resolution or whatever it is, has it been signed, the one that was passed last meeting?
It's been vetoed.
Oh, great, great. So we don't have a 2024 budget then?
That's correct.
Okay. So if we have no budget, how can anyone vote tonight to pass a tax
We cannot.
increase?
We cannot.
Okay. Next question. If there's a $546,000 surplus in the sanitation department, why are our trash fees being increased for next year in the tax increase ordinance? Residents want to know that. And then about this special meeting earlier, I'm all in favor of the police department getting what they need. The way that ordinance was written made it sound like it was being taken by eminent domain, which is usually like a controversial thing where the seller doesn't want to sell. And the way it was put out there just was very poorly done. So what I want to know is if it was on the agenda for 7 o'clock, why is it that we had to have a special meeting that was neither advertised nor, well, did you have public comment? I was late. So
Yes,
there
they
was public comment? Okay. I don't think you're allowed to do that. It wasn't an emergency. Okay, now I'm moving on to other things. I'm going to be quick, but I might run over, so please don't stop me. I've been coming to council meetings for almost 2 years now, having first come in February 2022 when I heard a rumor, which turned out to be true, that Upper Darby Township would miss payroll without using ARPA funds to bridge the gap. Since that time, I've met a lot of people, both on the council and citizens like me, who I count as friends, for which I'm very thankful. Lisa, I appreciate all the work you've done to further the ability of the police officers to both do their jobs and to come home safely to their families after each shift. My hope is that another council member will fill this role and take up this advocacy for our police department. Best wishes for your future, Lisa. Alexis, you are the foundation of this council. And my observation is that you have made the jobs of these council members much easier. Although I haven't worked with you, it is very clear that you are very passionate about your work. You are the person who is kind and helpful to everyone without regard to party affiliation. It will be very difficult for anyone to take your place. Best of wishes for you and your family. Brian, You have not had an easy job as president of council. You have withstood attacks on your character from those who want your job. But through all of this, you have remained dedicated and honorable, seeking to make Upper Darby Township a better place for the residents. And for that, I thank you. We will greatly miss you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Steve Lockhart.
Evening. Steve Lockhart, 427 Spruce Avenue. I hadn't thought about thanking all of you for your service until Michelle and this gentleman behind me sort of shamed me. Thank you all for what you have done. I freely admit that I do not know the mayor very well. I'm connected to Upper Darby Trails, so we run into each other there. I'm also a tree tender, so I've seen her when we were planting trees. I'm involved in environmental causes, so I've seen her there. And I help to run Upper Darby Rain Gardens, so I've asked for her help with them. Though I don't know her very well, I have worked with her on numerous occasions. Sometimes you learn things about folks when you work together. Some people are often late for work, others want to leave early. Still others are lackadaisical about work. That isn't what I saw with this person. She worked hard. I might say she sweated, and followed up after these assignments to ensure that we got it right. Rain Gardens is a small private group, but she's often volunteered, down in the dirt, planning with us. Sweat tells me something. Now the trails are better, and we're on target to do more. A whole lot more trees have been planted, and this is just the start. 27 rain gardens have been planted, not by the township, but by a small private group with the mayor's help. Lastly, the Environmental Advisory Council is continuing to explore ways to economically make the township healthier at less cost. That's what I know about the mayor.
Thank you. Next is Becky Duggan.
Becky Duggan, 129 North Pennock Avenue. I just want to start off, since there is no budget, do you think there's going to be a meeting next week to handle that?
I have
That-
no idea.
No? Okay. I'd like to start off, Barbara Ann, all these years, except for years, I come up here and I criticize you. I have nothing against you personally. I don't know you personally. I only know you through the township. I only know you through the things that have happened here. So I have nothing against you personally. I don't know you. But I hope you have a lot of great success in whatever you do going forward.
Thank you.
That being said, Alexis, you have, have always been just a smile and a joy to come and see. You make these meetings just so much, well, I'll say fun. I'm happy to see you, and I'm really going to miss seeing you here. I know you have worked very hard for this township, done great service, under-respected, and I'm sure underpaid. So I hope you have great success in whatever your next endeavor will be. You'll be greatly missed. Lisa, I want to thank you for your advocacy for the police department and all the other hard work that you do on this council. I know lots of times it's very thankless and, you know, a lot of negative comments back, but it is appreciated, everything that you do in support of them. So thank you. Brian, through the past couple of years, I've gotten to know you through the council. You have faced numerous attacks. You've always have a smile. You have a good disposition. I'm very happy to know you, and I'm very thankful for everything you've done. We come to these meetings and we ask questions, and so many times we just get a stone face look back at us. But you have an answer, you have an idea of what the answer might be, or who to go to get the answer. You direct people, you tell people how to find the information, and you follow up. And that is greatly appreciated, and that will be sorely missed. So I want to thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Becky.
Thank you. Next is Judy Duggan.
Judy Duggan, 141 North Bannock. Oh, I'm vibrating, no, not reverberating. I want to again thank Alexis, Sadiq, Lisa, Brian. You guys have done a great job, and I appreciate it, Barbara, and I hope you all have a great future. I also would like to reiterate one thing Joanne said, please don't vote for a tax increase when you don't even have a budget. And please, Mr. Tunis, Mr. Heyman, you guys are the ones who often say things about how we have to take care of the residents. We have to care about our constituents. Well, care about us. We care about our tax increase. We don't want a tax increase. We would prefer not to have a tax increase. Things are very hard for people nowadays. So please, when you do the budget, when you ever do finalize the budget, when you ever do, please try to keep that in mind and don't just keep wasting money. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Brian Taylor.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
And happy holidays to all.
Same to you.
Brian Sharif Taylor, United States Army, retired. My address is 7258 Lamport Road, in Upper Darby, Pennsylvania. I want to talk about something that's probably not the nicest thing to talk about during this time of year, but during this time of year, you will find a uptick in suicide with people dealing with the stressful things, dealing with the holiday season. I'm just here to basically tell everyone, if you know someone who might be in need, just check on them. I'm just going over some recent data. We have a strong uptick in women veteran suicide due to the use of handguns. A lot of my female counterparts are not respected or are going through a very difficult time. And a lot of times they are forgotten during your usual veteran holidays usually when they might be with a spouse, most people will go to the male instead of automatically maybe thinking that the female is actually the spouse. And the reason why I bring this up, because I like to use myself as the perfect example. I was watching the film Journey Home with a good friend over in Lansdowne, and I actually had my own anxiety attack and felt like, I'll just be honest, I just felt like dog shit. But I was blessed enough to actually have two people in my circle who was able to get me away from the situation. But everybody doesn't have that. And as people, just people as general, we have to start checking on each other more, because even though the holiday seasons are very festive, for some people it can be probably the worst time of the year, because they're missing these loved ones or they're going through these issues, and instead of them doing joyful things, they're leaning more to addiction and drug abuse. Reason why I talk about these things is because these are things that I have been through myself, but also help others. But this is also a thing that I know I cannot do alone, or the few people that I work with can do alone. So I'm just asking the general public, when you see people, don't let nobody be by themselves. Just check on them. Say, hey, how you doing? How's your family doing? Or maybe just invite someone over that you never invited over. It don't really take too much brain power to make someone smile or to make someone happy. I'm a little bit sleepy, but everyone have a good night. Talk to you later.
Have a nice holiday.
Thank you. Next is Olivia Taylor.
Should be interesting.
I'm sorry. Olivia Taylor, 204 Kent Road. listening to all this praise to you, Barbara, and I literally was gonna throw up back there, but I had to regroup myself and leave and compose myself and say everybody has their opinion. See, I remember when you first got in here, I also remember how 69th Street was destroyed by looters. Remember that? And how businesses and people lost their livelihood. I also remember a woman freezing to death on the streets of Upper Darby. That was the first time something has happened like that too. Nobody mentioned that. The destruction of our police department. I'm sorry, I lost my breath running in here. The destruction of our police department, the trash, the shootings. No one mentioned that. So don't come in here and talk about all the glory about the trees. No, let's talk about some real stuff. Now I hear that you vetoed the one thing that could have saved the residents of Upper Darby Township from this tax increase, something that you caused. You caused this. Whether you stole the money, you blew it, this is nothing more than an attempt to make the residents pay for what you did. And you veto it. You have destroyed Upper Darby Township. I am so glad you're leaving, and I'm praying that hopefully he does the right thing. I'm doubtful, but with God's grace, maybe he'll change. And as far as you, Brian, you would have been good for this township. You would have been perfect. To think that she vetoed the one thing that could have saved us from this. And like I said at the last meeting, folks, this 1% can change. Once it's in our township, it is in our township, okay? It is unnecessary. And as for you, Sadiq, hopefully now you'll get what you deserve, because you didn't deserve a plaque. You deserve a jail cell right along with her, okay? That's what you deserve. You've done nothing but steal from Black women and kids the whole time you sat there. You didn't come over here like every other immigrant to get a job. You did it the easy way. You took advantage of people. And you're still doing it. How much you owe how much you owe in the taxes? You still owe 80,000, but you award him with a plaque, Haman? Really? How about helping the girls that he put out in the middle of the cold winter with 2 kids? Don't you have a child? Can you imagine somebody putting you out in the winter? Because see, that's what he did. But you award him with a plaque. Really? Yeah, that just shows the type of person you are. Outrageous. Knowing he did it. Knowing he owes taxes, just like you. So, yeah, I guess not. I'm disgusted. I am. The destruction of our police department. The destruction of this township. You got your friends to come in here and praise you. I'll just throw a monkey wrench in it. I'm done.
Merry Christmas, Ms. Taylor.
Thank you. And that's it.
Thank you, Secretary Bilps. Next up, 7.0, President of Council. One, it's been 4 years, 2 on Zoom and 2 in person. I've met, I'd like to thank all the residents that actually come to these meetings. Some people have showed up in the last, today, they haven't been here for 5 or 6 months. It does make a difference when you come up and say things. Hopefully, everybody listens. So I do appreciate the residents to come here. Excuse me. Past counselors that are not here, that left 2 years ago, counselors that I've worked with over the last 4 years here, I appreciate the time that you put in, as somebody said, not missing meetings. You want to be here. If you want to be here, you're here. So you do put the time in, but we can't be everywhere. We've said that for 4 years. But yes, counselors here, we all do try. So I thank you for that. Colleen, for last, I guess, year, a month or whatever, it's been a pleasure. But Alexis, president's job is not easy, but it was pretty easy for 2 years, Alexis. So I appreciate the time, the phone calls, organization, and having everything ready, not for just me, but for past counselors and counselors here. So I hope everything works out for you, and make sure everybody here and everybody listening to have a happy holidays. So that's for first. So we do have something on the committee report. It's been mentioned twice. I talked to Solicitor Marcini already. We'll touch base on that. And just for clarification, Solicitor Marcini, could you tell me the difference between a special meeting and an emergency meeting? Because I didn't understand the email from Solicitor Kilkenny today about 24 hours notice. I believe 24-hour notice on the meeting was an emergency meeting. But prior to this meeting, it was called a special meeting. So if you could, educate me a little bit of the difference between the two meetings, I'd appreciate it.
I can try. This was defined as a special meeting, which can be called by a majority of council, or by the council president, or by the mayor. It has to be advertised, which it was, and an agenda put out, which it was. An emergency meeting would be something different, but I don't think this was ever defined as an emergency meeting.
Okay. But Solicitor Kilkenny, in his email today, I believe, said this special meeting only needed 24 hours notice.
I don't remember seeing that. Would you be able to quote that? The email?
Well, Colleen has the email
No,
back.
would you be able to reference the exact wording? Because I didn't see that. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. Yeah.
No, that's fine.
I could
Okay.
probably-
So does the special meeting need 7 days? I'll rephrase myself from that, Vice President Tunis. Does the special meeting need 7 days' notice? Yes or no? Because the emergency meeting only needs 24 hours' notice. We all know that.
Special meeting does not, there's nothing in our administrative code or charter that requires 7 days' notice.
Okay, so,
Special meeting,
okay, so I believe
7 days either.
Sunshine, okay, that's fine about Sunshine. I'd have to refer back to special meeting that we called in February 6. I believe we couldn't call a special meeting within 7 days. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that was Solicitor Kilkenny's ruling back in February. But I'll refer back to that later, so I'm not 100% sure. Councilman Heyman, if you would love to help answer or educate me on that.
Maybe I'm misunderstanding what meeting you're referring to, but are you talking about with an ordinance? If there was an ordinance to be passed at a special meeting, we would require 7 days at notice in the paper. But for a special meeting, and in this case with a resolution, unless there's something that I'm missing in the home rule charter, I would think that
No,
24 hours notice.
It
in the
was
paper.
7 days for an ordinance, I believe.
Yeah, for an ordinance,
Councilman
yeah.
Heyman. But when you clarify a special meeting, I don't think you can clarify a special meeting with an ordinance or without an ordinance with a resolution. A special meeting to me is a special meeting. If something measures 1 foot, it doesn't measure 6 inches, it measures 1 foot. So a special meeting is a special meeting.
Right, but the advertising requirement, I think, is 7 days for an ordinance, but I think the home rule charter is pretty clear, unless I'm misunderstanding.
No, that's fine.
I've looked at it
That's
a
fine.
while, but. yeah.
That's fine. That's all I was looking for clarification.
Yeah.
From, so thank you, Solicitor Marcina, and thank you, Councilman Heyman, for that. So next, I would like to have a motion for council to approve the advertisement of 2024 schedule of
So moved.
council.
Second.
All in favor?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to.
So the ayes have it, I believe, so.
Okay.
Where
that's the
is
motion.
it?
I'll just change it. I'll just change.
All right.
Just saying, the ayes have it.
No, I understand. I haven't seen it.
Emailed it to us.
Did it?
Alexis,
Okay,
yeah, it's-
It was
yeah.
emailed to us.
I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
Okay, that's fine. Oh. So next up, Treasurer Heyman, how you doing? Okay, so we'll go right to Treasurer Heyman's report.
Thank you, Council President Burke. All right, let me see where we are here. So again, tonight's report has 5 parts to it. I'm going to talk about the cash balance report on the bank accounts. Look at our change in revenues and expenses for the period of January 1st through November 30th. Talk about the year-to-date current real estate tax collection, give an ARPA fund summary, and then give the forecasted cash position through the end of the year. I attached, and it was included, I believe, in your notes, 3 reports, including the budget status report for November, the ARPA summary, and again, the forecasted general cash balance. So when we look at our cash balance report at the end of November, I'm just going to focus on the two accounts that I believe are pertinent here. The unrestricted general funds, there was $23,327,937. ARPA funds at $29,067,470. The cash balance, increased through November 30th is $11,669,202. That's the increase in the unrestricted general funds from January 1st. The change in revenues and expenses. So far this year, we've received $81,257,000 of revenues with expenditures of $67,011,000. And that's a $14.2 million cash flow surplus so far. So we've collected essentially all of our revenue for this year, 99.4% of it, and expended 84.73% of the expense budget. And again, that's through November. On the real estate collections, we actually collected on the current tax collections of the budget 98% of that, so that's pretty good, and that turned out to be $53,282,000. The ARPA fund, total ARPA funds appropriated through ordinances since July 21st is $32,971,245, with an additional $8.5 million released to the general fund under lost revenue. So of the original $41,761,939 received from the Treasury, only $290,694 remains unappropriated. Year to date, the appropriations in 2023, $31,116,848 appropriated through ordinances, with $9,502,912 expended and encumbered, with $21,613,936 remaining to be encumbered. Interest on the ARPA accounts, year to date, $1,483,433. Since July 2021, since we got the money, the interest, $2,008,980 in interest earned on the ARPA funds. Just again, to reiterate that this is unrestricted general funds revenue and does not need to be authorized by council for use. For the end of year cash forecast, my end of year forecast, and again, it's tricky because December's a weird month, but my end of year cash forecast is around $10.5 million going in, we're taking in unrestricted funds into the next year. The finance department came back and said that their estimate's around $13 million. So either way you look at this, there should be sufficient funds to carry us through March without the bridge loan. And I do not believe that the administration is looking for the bridge loan, or the TAN, as some people refer to it. The November 30th unrestricted cash, general cash balance was $23,327,938. Can't even read my own writing here. Okay, with zero of expected so for moving forward, I have zero of expected revenue in December. We basically have all our revenue in. I am projecting $12.768 million of budgeted expenses. Now, this would include the $6 million in pension contributions, which have been made at this point. So between November 30th and tonight, at some point in there, they have actually fully funded the pensions for the year. And that's it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Treasurer Hayman. Can I get a motion to approve Treasurer Hayman's report?
So moved.
All in favor?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays?
No.
All right, thank you. Got that one. It's 10 to 1. 9.0 committee reports, finance appropriation, Councilwoman Wentz.
Thank
Can you
you.
hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
Great. So members of the Finance Committee are Councilman Silva, Councilwoman Wagner, and Councilman Andrusko. At this point in time, we need to have a public hearing for ordinance number 3147. Can we get a brief summary, Solicitor Marcini, of this ordinance before we do the public hearing?
Councilwoman Wentz.
Yes.
How can we have a hearing on this ordinance if we don't have a budget?
We still go through the process and then we don't pass the ordinance. We
Okay.
go through the process.
Solicitor Morosini, you okay with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Ordinance number 3147, annual budget for the Township of Upper Darby for the year 2024, tax levy and appropriation ordinance, and ordinance of the Township of Upper Darby, County of Delaware, and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania fixing the tax rate for the year 2024 and appropriating specific funds estimated to be required for the specific purpose of the municipal government. Whereas pursuant to Section 902 of the Home Rule Charter of the Township of Upper Darby, the mayor submitted to
You can
Township
jump to the
Council.
therefores if you want.
Now therefore be it ordained as follows. Section 1, that a tax be and the same is hereby levied on all property and occupations within the said township, subject to taxation for the township purposes for the fiscal year 2024 as follows. Tax rate for the general fund purposes, the sum of 14.472 mils on each $1,000 of assessed valuation. For debt purposes, 0.504 mils on each $1,000 of assessed valuation, the same being summarized in tabular form as follows. Tax rate for general fund purposes, 14.472. Tax rate for debt purposes, 0.504. Total tax rate, 14.976. Should I read the rest of this? No? Oh, yes. No? Yes. Section 2, providing for the fees for collection and disposal of refuse set forth in Section 461-18 of the Code of Ordinances. The owner of record of any residence building shall be charged a sum of $315 for each dwelling unit contained in said residence building for the collection of refuse from the residence building. Section 3, increasing the sewer rates and charges as set forth in Section 454-1A of the Code of Ordinances for the said rental or change based upon the following rates and in accordance with the following classifications. 1, single-family dwelling unit, $275. Apartment unit, $275. Apartment house for each apartment unit, $275. Public businesses, commercial or industrial uses for the first 60,000 gallons of water annually, $275. Amending Section 454-1B, public businesses, commercial or industrial users shall pay the rate at the rate of $275 per unit. Section 4, as per the approved 2024 Budget Resolution 31-23, which includes the amendments added. Finance Director, Grant Manager, Engineer, Fire Marshal, 2 new firefighters, 5 new police officers, funds for youth programs, shade tree commissions, increased scholarships for summer stage, and includes $2.5 million of ARPA interest funds are allocated to the OPEBs in the 2024 budget. Removed $1.07 million cuts to the 2024 original budget. Section 5, if any section, sentence, clause, or word of this ordinance shall be declared illegal, invalid, unconstitutional by the court of any competent jurisdiction, such declaration shall not prevent, preclude, or otherwise foreclose the validity of the remaining portions of this ordinance or ordinance or resolutions or parts thereof inconsistent herewith or in conflict with any of the specific terms, enacted hereby to the extent of said inconsistencies or conflicts or hereby specifically repealed.
Thank you, Solicitor Morosini.
So President Burke, can you start the public hearing?
Officially open the public hearing.
Thank you.
Anybody from the public?
Please come forward, state your name and your address.
Go ahead.
Joanne Namavong, 133 North Pennock. So I said this before, and as you all said also, we can't have an ordinance to levy a tax when we have no budget. If the mayor's vetoed the budget, we have nothing to work with. And I guess, as a resident, I want to know, don't we have to have a budget? Do we have to have a budget by the end of the year? Is that in the Home Rule Charter anywhere? Because this ordinance is referring to a budget that actually doesn't exist anymore. Does anybody know if if we're required to have a budget passed by December 31st?
Nope. Go ahead, Mayor.
A couple things can happen. One, the new mayor and the new council can reopen the budget and this tax ordinance. And they have, I think, until February 15th to complete it. So the other thing is, if the budget reverts back to the 2023 budget until a new budget has been developed and passed, along with the millage rate and tax and sewer fees.
Okay, so
Because
if-
this was a municipal year election. Every 2 years, the new administration, the new elected leaders have the opportunity to reopen the budget and craft the one that they want.
Okay. So if we don't, if one's not passed this year, then, and there's no tax ordinance, and they don't do anything, they have till February 15th. I guess my question is like, how much time do you have to give residents, how much notice has to be given of a tax increase before it's implemented? So if they say they go till February 15th and tax bills are due, I think March 31st, like, is that enough time? Like, what's the rule on that? Do you know?
Well, if this is what's going to happen, this will be something new, right, for township and the taxpayers. And it's something that the finance department will have to work with the administration on. Just because they can go to February 15th doesn't mean that they will. I can't speak to what's going to happen in January, but I think a lot of people are aware, like the new council and new mayor administration are aware of this, of what's happening here.
Okay, so they're,
I assume that they're preparing for it.
okay, all right, thank you.
Olivia Taylor, 204 Kent. This was your plan all along, was to shoot down the finance company's budget, okay? And let the new administration deal with it, which is totally, it should be illegal, quite honestly. It should be illegal. Everything you've done in here is illegal, and it's absolute disgrace. And with that being said, if the new mayor has till the 15th, so doesn't he have to advertise the tax hike, the tax increase? Ms. Colleen, I don't want to call you Colleen. I'm asking you as acting solicitor. Doesn't he have to advertise this?
Yes.
So that's only what, January and February? That's like 4 weeks. Am I correct when I asked the question, is it 6 months ahead of time for this increase? So if that's the case, why are you voting on it tonight? This wasn't advertised.
But the tax levy?
Yes. I don't
It was-
understand how you
yeah.
can do it without a budget.
Listen, with the budget, the tax levy shows the budget.
Right.
So it was advertised, okay? Now we don't have a budget
Right,
because the mayor vetoed it.
exactly.
My question on the veto was it within the 7 days? Solicitor Kilkenny, Solicitor Morosini say that the vote on the budget wasn't delivered to the mayor for 3 days. So that meant, I believe, is 10 days. But when we voted on it at 8:05 that night here Wednesday, Solicitor Morosini, Solicitor Kilkenny says it wasn't delivered to the desk, so there's 10-day period of vetoing, not 7 days. Is that correct?
10 days to veto, and the veto was conducted within that time period.
So it's not 7 days, it's 10 days.
Is that in the home rule charter for them to do that? Because not that they follow it, this administration has just made up the rules as they went along. Is
Kilkenny
that,
law stands by 10 days. They have 10 days to veto it.
like that's any better? I'm sick of this. I am. And you ought to be held accountable for what you're doing to Upper Darby Township residents because of your disastrous decisions.
I can't tell.
Becky Duggan, 129 North Pennock. I'm just going to be nitpicky about the wording of the ordinance, considering we don't have a 2024 budget. I think if you're going to pass this, you'd have to amend it to take out the words 2024 budget and say continuing 2023 budget, because there is no 2024 budget. So I don't think the ordinance can stand as it is with that wording in it.
Thank you. Seeing nobody else, officially close the public hearing on 3147. Anybody from council? Councilman Heyman.
I'd like to make a motion to reject the ordinance number 3147.
Say reject?
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Oh, okay.
I thought that's what you said. I just wanted to make sure. I second that.
So we have first and second to
Reject.
reject ordinance 3147. I guess we'll have to get a roll call.
Yes, please, roll call.
Okay. Secretary Billups.
So this is on a roll call vote to reject ordinance number 3147. Okay. All right, Councilor Heyman,
Yes.
Councilor Blackwell,
Yes.
Councilor Andrewsko,
Yes.
Councilor Sadiq,
Yes.
Councilor Faralia, Councilor Silva,
Yes.
President Burke,
Yes.
that's me. Billups is a yes. Council.
Yes.
Vice President Tunis,
Yes.
Councilor Wentz.
Yes.
Okay, it's 11-0.
11-0, thank you. Next up, we have a public hearing on ordinance 3148. Solicitor Marcini. Get a reading. You ha- Here. That's good enough as far as I'm concerned.
Ordinance 3148, an ordinance of the Township of Upper Darby, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, authorizing the part of certain unencumbered appropriations allocated by the 2023 operating budget be transferred from various departments and agencies to other departments and agencies within the township, and repealing all ordinances and resolutions inconsistent herewith. Whereas there exists a certain unencumbered appropriations allocated by the 2023 operating budget, and whereas pursuant to Section 909D1 of the Home Rule Charter of Upper Darby Township, the mayor has requested that parts of that certain unencumbered appropriations be transferred from various departments, offices, and agencies to other departments, offices, and agencies within the township. Now therefore be it ordained by the Upper Darby Township Council as follows. Section 1. A certain portion of the unencumbered appropriation allocated by the 2023 operating budget shall be transferred from various departments, offices, and agencies to other departments, offices, and agencies within the township as follows. Should I read you each one?
Go ahead. No, you don't have to.
That was mine.
Yes, please read
You've read
them.
it before.
Thank you.
At this time, I would like to open, officially open 3148 to the general public.
Thank you. John Mazzari, 353 Kirk's Lane. So at the 12/6 meeting, I had asked if a detailed line item information could be provided to the residents or made public, how the reallocation was going to happen within those, I think it was 5 categories: fire, parking, solicitor, finance, and general government. I haven't seen anything.
I haven't either, John. I do remember last meeting you did ask, and I also asked the finance department to, and the administration to do that, so.
I mean, based on what Treasurer Heyman just presented with regards to the budget and the anticipated cash balance at the end of the year, I'm just concerned, why then is there a need for the funds to be reallocated to these different departments?
I would say, in general, this is sort of, it's kind of an interesting ordinance, and it's something that council has to do according to the Home Rule Charter or the administrative code. And it's like another thing we used to call it, I was on council for 6 years, the reconciliation. So the budget is a plan, but sometimes one department will overspend, another will underspend. And this is just bringing those together. It's not just we have $10 million left over in December, we don't have to do this. It's just, it's required. I think it would be better if it was done after the year's over, then you can really see whatever's kind of premature, but that's just my opinion. But this reconciles what was spent to how the budget was drawn up and voted on in the beginning of the year.
Right,
That's my
so,
understanding.
and the reason why I asked for that detail was to see where exactly is the overspend that, like, for instance, for the fire department, $796,000 that, would be reallocated to them. Where in their line item is that, or did they overspend that requires that additional? And I'm not saying they don't need it.
Right, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I don't have those details.
John, I could probably, in my opinion only, the parking, I believe, was the cost of the investigation, in my opinion only. Fire department is probably overtime. Solicitor, many lawsuits this year. Finance, I'm sure we hired new people and new employees and probably new upgrades of, certain things. And general government, it's probably just general government. I mean, that's just my opinion. I mean,
get it.
we asked for a line item, we didn't see one. And it's something that I've been here and it's been done, reconciliation, whatever you want to call it. It's has to be done to make sure the books
balance.
balance.
I get it. I get it.
And that's what
I'm in
it is.
banking, I get it.
Last year, we took 2 out of the 5 out. If you remember, we voted 2 out of the 5 out. So we changed the ordinance, but.
Okay, I just think it's horrible that something that was asked to be given or provided to the public so the public can come to this meeting today and understand where those funds are going. I think it's just.
John, council doesn't have it either, so you're not
No,
alone.
I get it. I'm just saying that it was asked for and it's not supplied, and it's just what has been occurring.
Anybody else want? Oh, go ahead.
Becky Duggan, 129 North Pennock. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think at the last meeting, we increased the fees for trash and sewer. And now it shows that we have a surplus of $546,000. And that we're going to transfer out to other places. It kind of seems like you're going to make the residents pay more for trash and sewer so you can pad that budget more so you can play with it however you want or whoever it is next year at our expense. I mean, obviously, it's all at our expense, but kind of trying to trick us into thinking we're paying for trash and sewer when we're really not going to be doing that. It's really for other things.
So Becky, on that, I know we've heard from some of the meetings with Joe Martin, from sanitation, the tipping cost really doesn't, if you broke it down, of what it explained to me from Allison or whoever in the past, that it really doesn't even out per household, per trash removal, per sewer removal, water usage. It just doesn't even out. That 546 in sanitation could have been summer help. It could have been that they hired less, less call-outs, that they looked at overtime, that they didn't have overtime. Overtime in sanitation could be snow removal. There wasn't snow removal. I'm not 100% sure. I don't have the line items, but I'm sure that's something that's a possibility. But without a line item, I can't be for sure. But I believe that's some of the answers,
And this is what I mean. You always seem to have some answer because, thank you for that. But it still seems like we're being tricked. That wasn't at you.
We do it every year, so.
Okay, Peggy Wilson, 824 Drexel Avenue in Drexel Hill. I managed a substantial budget for the federal government in my career, and our deadline was September 30th. This process we called scrubbing. I was given a budget based on my estimate of what the projects were going to cost. Some of them came in higher, some of them never happened. Some of them came in lower. On September 30th, we were furiously scrubbing the budget because if we didn't spend it, we had to either give it to someone else who could, or we lost it. So until after December 31st, you're not going to really know what the reconciliation is showing. That's the point where you can say, oh, we thought we were going to spend this much in this department, but we only spent this much. But this department spent a little extra, so we can shoot that over there to cover them. Every budget in the world does some kind of reconciliation or scrubbing or whatever the heck you call it. And it's not sneaky, and it's not hiding and stealing. It's just the reality of estimating versus actual costs.
Thank you.
Joanne Amavong, 133 North Pennock. You guys probably don't know this, but did we have the surplus in sanitation last year also? Like, I'm just trying to find out, like,
Yes, I
I don't
believe so.
have last year's numbers, but is it kind of consistent that that's one of the departments that has a surplus?
Yes.
If you don't know, it's fine. I just kind of bringing it
I would
forth.
guess yes.
Councilwoman
I was
Morowitz.
going to say, I think that Council President Burke was right in that snow removal is budgeted into each budget, but we don't
No.
know.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say yes either. I would just say.
You don't know. That's
And
fine.
I don't know off the top of my hand what.
No, and I know you
what happened.
don't know if it's going to snow either. I get that. The fire department, that's like 5% of their budget, which seems like a big miss on, the estimate. I mean, I'm not a budget person, but as John said, if we had the line items, it would help the public to understand where these numbers are coming from. So we can understand, okay, well, you had like, a million, so many more fires and we had to pay so much more overtime. Like, we would understand that, but when we just given a big giant bulk number, it's really hard for us to picture what's going on here. So it's really, some of you council members have said, so the public is aware. It's a phrase you use a lot. We want to be aware. So we would appreciate if we were given the information. Thanks very much.
Anybody else? Now officially close the public hearing on 3148. Council?
I have,
Anybody?
I do.
Go ahead.
Actually, I'm curious on the fire side of the equation, is some of that from the other municipality, our fire department covering other municipalities that are not paying, that do not have a contract with our township and is not paying any funds back. Milburn has a contract with us. They're paying back for the services they receive. I understand Darby Township is getting firefighting services from Upper Darby Township, but they don't have a contract, and it's been happening for 6 months to a year or something. So I'm curious how much of this overspending on the fire department side is because of we didn't get any money back from the other township.
I'm not sure about the overtime on going to Darby Township, but that'll be something that the new administration would have to contract with the lower part of Darby Township and the Delaware County Emergency Services, because I believe that was the conversation with the emergency service. Tim Boyce, is that correct, Lisa? Yes, so, and, we provide mutual aid all throughout the county of our neighbor boroughs and all that, so.
Right, but that's separate from.
Yeah, so it's all it's 7 days a week that we fight fires, so.
Right.
It's just.
And
Just a transfer of money.
As a side question,
Go ahead.
have all of our volunteer firehouses been paid their monthly stipend up to date?
Councilwoman Farrelly?
There's, I think, one that's just missing the 2. they're missing November. They just got October, they're missing November and December.
Okay.
So they go and fight fires on behalf of our township on the weekends and for Garrett throughout the realm, but we're behind on paying their monthly stipend. And there's also the ARPA ordinance that we passed this September or so, August, September, that would have given the volunteer firehouses $100,000 each. Has that been paid to them yet?
That has not on the 100,000 of the ordinance, Councilwoman Wentz.
Thank you.
All right, how about a roll call vote on 3148? Secretary
We need a motion to approve first.
I'm sorry. Can I
I'll
get a
motion, I'll motion to approve ordinance 3148.
First and seconded, thank you. I get a roll call on 3148.
So this is a roll call on ordinance number 3148. Counselor Heyman.
Yes.
Counselor Blackwell.
Yes.
Counselor Andrewsko.
Yes.
Counselor Sadiq.
Yes.
Counselor Faralia.
Yes.
Counselor Silva.
Yes.
President Burke.
No.
Counselor Billups is a yes. Counselor Wagner.
No.
Vice President Tunis.
Yes.
Counselor Wentz.
No.
8-3.
Thank you.
President Burke, can I take a point of personal privilege?
Go ahead. We're still under the
Finance Committee?
Finance
Great.
Committee, yep.
So I just wanted to thank all the members of the Finance Committee for all their hard work, 2022, 2023. Treasurer Heyman, thank you for your support and information and sharing your knowledge with us and helping to guide us through the township finances. I just wanted to highlight some things that we have accomplished and things that have happened in the last couple of years. We successfully launched investigation into mishandling of ARPA funds that through the investigation declared 4.2 million of ARPA funds spent without council approval in December of 2021, and then 1 million again in January of 2022. We did successfully pass millions and millions of dollars of ARPA ordinances. Most recently, over 13 million in which Mayor Keff refused to act on many of them. The $100,000 each for the firehouses, $800,000 to Upper Darby Arts and Education Foundation, money for a new senior center in Drexel Hill, funds for parks throughout the township, evenly spread out throughout the entire township. Every district had parks that were part of the list that was going to get new equipment and upgrades. Business district improvements, Westchester Pike Westchester Pike, trash cans. We have a constituent that has passed away for over 7 years, has asked for trash cans. And not only did it not happen during the Republican leadership, it didn't happen under the Democratic one either. That included Long Lane. It included, the ordinance included upgrades for the business districts on Garrett Road and Fern Boulevard, as well as Westchester Pike. 3 sanitation trucks, a fire truck. And I understand the fire truck we ended up purchasing was the one that was canceled by the mayor and would have cost a lot less if she had never canceled it to begin with. Finance Committee also launched into our own investigations into credit cards that were held by members of the administration, including Allison. Many purchases were made with that included sales tax. The township is exempt from sales tax. Many receipts where 3 people went to lunch and there was no indication of who attended the lunch and why the taxpayers were paying for it. There were 2 specific holiday parties in 2021 where they spent over $3,788 was spent without a detailed receipt. In 2022, there were a breakup between a pizza bought for different departments, fire departments, so forth, but no real indication of where all the pizza went to for over $700, plus a party for $1,663, which includes food, taxes, tip, and $551 going to alcohol purchases. December of 2021, Allison purchased toys on behalf of a nonprofit who had received a HUD grant from the township. Allison spent $6,890 on toys. Not that we have any problems with getting toys, but it's not the township's job to purchase the toys. In those toys, there was a $153 hoverboard included, plus over $1,000 of gift cards with no indication of where these toys went to, what families they went to. There's not a whole lot of accountability. HUD reimburses individual organizations that get grants. They turn in their receipts and they reimburse them. It was not appropriate for the township to make those purchases and for HUD to reimburse the township. Then we come to the 2024 budget. I'd like to thank everyone for all your hard work on helping with the 2024 budget. We worked really hard to get a balanced budget, one that respects the residents and the needs of the township. And unfortunately, I think probably for the first time, and I don't know how many years, where the mayor vetoed the budget, and you're going into a new year without a budget. But with the veto of our budget, I realized that the approved budget did not include the mayor's new job and salary, which I think that her vetoing a budget that was solid is a conflict of interest since she's getting a job in the next administration. And I think it's a conflict of interest. So I just wanted to thank the Finance Committee for all that you've done, all your hard work. Thank you for being true to the residents, for fighting for transparency, accountability, and fiscal responsibility. I've learned so much in the last 4 years, or all the years, 6 years that I've been on council, but I truly enjoyed working with all of you. Thank you to the Super Six for standing up for the residents of this township. And good luck to the residents and the future of Upper Darby. I'm very concerned about what's to come, and I'm pretty, but I just wanted to thank everyone. And Alexis, you are an incredible resource. You are the reason why I was successful as a president of council. I love you. You're amazing. And I don't know what is going to happen to the township without you. So I just wanted to say that. So thank you, President Burke, for the point of personal privilege.
Thank you. It's not a personal privilege, but that's fine. It's the public safety. It's fine. I'm sorry. It's Finance Committee. Go ahead.
I have a question. Because I'm just a little confused. Councilor West, are you leaving? I'm just asking the question because it sounds.
I have 2 more years. I have 2 more years.
No,
I'm here for 2 more years.
And
I'm just figuring that the next administration or president will punish me for what I've done and said. So therefore, I'm just speaking out for my last opportunity before people try to silence me.
I was just asking the question.
Thank you, Secretary Belps. Thank you. All right. Next up, 9.2, Public Safety. All right, Public Safety Committee.
All right, so I don't know, do we still go through with this?
Yes.
We are, okay. So this is the resolution.
Lisa, your mic's not on.
It's the resolution to purchase the
Thank you.
property on Westchester Pike. Solicitor, you want to give us a reading on that again?
Yes.
Okay.
Read it again? I will. A resolution of Upper Darby Township, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, authorizing the condemnation of 7260 Westchester Pike, Upper Darby Township for the construction of a police station. I can just go to the now, the
Yeah.
whole thing?
No.
Which part? All the whereases? Okay. Okay. Whereas the property be condemned is situated in Upper Darby Township, Delaware County, and consists of 9,583 square feet. A plan of the property condemned sufficient for identification is set forth in Exhibit A, attached hereto, and made hereof identified as tax parcel 1605-0148-00. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of Upper Darby Township, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, in lawful session duly assembled, that the property is hereby condemned. The mayor is authorized to execute any documents necessary to finalize the condemnation and record the deed with the Delaware County Recorder of Deeds.
Thank you, Solicitor Marcini. Anybody, got?
Can I make a motion to affirm it?
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
I'll second the motion to affirm that.
Yep, okay. I just have one question, Solicitor Marcini.
The motion's on the floor, or you're gonna, or this is conversation?
It's just.
So once there's
Question
a
on the
motion
resolution.
made and
One
seconded,
second,
then we
I'm
can
talking to
discuss it.
one president.
Got it, I got it.
Yeah, President Burke. It's your meeting.
Yeah, I just have one question.
All right,
So,
cool. I was just asking.
So back when this was brought up quite a few months ago, I asked in executive session for a clean bill of health on the property. Did we receive a clean bill of health on the property?
Yes, the engineer did the environmental studies. And yes, we do have in your term, the property is clean.
Clean, okay, so we did an environmental study before we purchased this property.
Yes.
Okay, I'm fine, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Wait,
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, thank you. Yep.
Do we need to have a public hearing or no?
We don't do it, we're
No.
done.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right.
Old business, Vice President Tunis.
Thank you, President Burke. I just wanted to thank my colleagues, Councilman Siddiq, Councilman Falia, and Councilman Burke, for serving with me. I got appointed, so it seems like the last 3 to 4 years, and all of us have our individual relationships and ups and downs, but I did learn a lot from you all, and over the last 4 years, it's been an entire learning curve getting into local government. So I do appreciate the back and forth, the behind the scenes, and I may not have always agreed with you all, and a lot of people might not believe this, even Sadiq, but I knew that you believed what you were coming in here voting for. So I do appreciate that. I also want to thank Mayor Keffer, someone I met in 2019 when I graduated college. I was trying to get an internship in the municipality, the township at the time, and I wasn't getting any calls back, any responses. And I was able to work for the state, and I came to a council meeting in September of 2019, or October, at the peak of election season. Some of the same folks that was in opposition against you as a council person are some of the same folks here today that was in opposition against you as mayor. And I remember our conversation, and I came up to you and I said, hey, you're the only person on this entire dais I've ever seen in my neighborhood. And that meant a lot. And when I got on council and I was appointed, you were one of the very few people that didn't treat me like a 23-year-old. You let me convince you on ideas like the criminalization of marijuana and working to address stuff like smoke shops that we still have in motion here. But I really do appreciate the work we've been able to get done, especially with Chapman Park, bringing recreation to Upper Darby. The 7th District looks a lot better than it did 5 years ago. The business district is growing to technology. Our township is modernized. The fact that residents, 20 people can be here, but 300 people can watch at home. So I really do appreciate that, and I appreciate you treating me like an elected official and letting me have a voice in the room. Thank you.
I had
Councilwoman
something.
Wagner.
Thank you. Councilman Heyman went into detail about 3 of the members that are experiencing or going through their last meeting tonight. So it's my honor to talk about the 2 others. And I know Mr. Tunis just backed that up as well. Alexis, I don't know what to say to you. I'm going to miss you. I really don't know what the township's going to do without you. You have become a friend, and I truly love you from the bottom of my heart. And we're really going to miss you. But you live in my district, so I know where to find you. But what's that? Yeah, that's true. But again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for everything you do. I know the hours you work. I know the effort you've put in. You've taught me a lot. I still have a lot to learn, but you've taught me so much. So thank you, and don't be a stranger. Oh, I will. Council President Burke, I don't really know what to say to you either, other than I thank you so very much for your dedication to this township, for taking the interests of the community, the interests of the township, and frankly, the interest of doing what's right and putting those interests in front of your own. I admire you for that. I really thank you for that. And I know that it's been not the easiest road. I am happy to have gone down that road with you. If I can quote Ronald Reagan for a moment, the future does not belong to the faint-hearted. It belongs to the brave. And frankly, I don't know what your future has in store, but I know you're not going anywhere, and I'm excited about it. I thank you for everything you've done. I'm honored to be your colleague and your friend, and I'm so proud to have served on this council with you.
Thank you, Megan. Councilman, Vice President Tunis, the trick is get a nap.
I have something.
Hold, so we, Secretary Billups first, and then Councilwoman Blackwell. She said she was next.
So I just want to, I sat up here next to Brian for like 5,000 years. So no, I really, I'm going to miss sitting up here next to you, actually. Yeah, and I know you might not think that, but I will miss sitting up here next to you.
Someone turned the heat on today for you.
Thank you, I know, and I do appreciate that. Thank you for serving. You know, and I know the role of president can't be easy. So thank you for that, and thank you for putting up with me and me putting up with you. So I appreciate that.
Thanks, Michelle. Appreciate it.
Sadiq, I will see you around. You know, I thank you for your service. I appreciate all the things that you have done in the community. So I appreciate that. Lisa, thank you. Thank you for your tenacity, for working hard for the police. I appreciate that. One of the things that that I hear everybody keep saying that, that people can't be, people are irreplaceable, and that you are. I think all of you are, but I think that there will be other people that will come and live out your legacy, because that's what you guys are leaving. You guys are leaving a legacy, and I think the people of the township probably appreciate you and understand what you did. So thank you for fighting for the police and doing what you do. So thank you, Sadiq, Lisa, and Brian. And Mayor, what can I say about you? You know, you and I became friends. You and I didn't always agree. But at the end of the day, we talked. You know, you heard me and I heard you. So, and I appreciate you bringing me in on this, when I originally told you no. So, and I appreciate you. I think you did a good job. You did a lot for this community, in spite of what other people may say. And I think Michelle had said it, how people may not see the things that you have done, but you've done a lot for this community. So I appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah.
Councilwoman Blackwell, sorry.
Yes, thank you. So I just want to state, thank you so much, Alexis, Sadiq, Lisa, Brian, and major kudos to you, Mayor. I appreciate, as well as all of the constituents, appreciate all that you have done for the community. It has been a pleasure working with you for the last 4 years. I would like to continue to work with you in any capacity because you do serve the community, so it's not over. This is just the beginning of a new journey, and I look forward to the next ride with you. So thank you. We do appreciate you.
Thank you, Daniel.
Mike. I have something. I can't hear who's talking. Whoever's talking, your mic is not on.
Okay. I was saying to Alexis that I did not forget about her and that I appreciate her knowledge and knowing the township as well as she does. So I do appreciate all the hard work that you have done. And you will be missed. You will be missed. You know, and thank you for whenever I called, you pick up the phone. So I appreciate that. So thank you so much. And you know what? And good luck, because I think you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Yeah, you'll be fine.
Councilman Siddiq.
It's my term.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, President Burke. I think this is my last opportunity to say a few words. It's my pleasure and honor to be the 6th District Councilman of the great township of Upper Darby. And with that, I would like to thank all the residents of Upper Darby Township as well as the residents of 6th District who voted for me 2 times, 8 years. I am also proud to be first Asian American Muslim councilman in the history of Upper Darby Township. With that, I would like to thank all my colleagues over here, the fantastic team. We had some heated debate, we had some differences, we had some misunderstanding each other, but end of the day, we finished the job for the township, for the resident of this township. I start my journey as a Democrat 1997, and that time Upper Darby Township was a very, very deep red township. We work hard, and many of my friends sitting over here. And now I am leaving from this council to see that Upper Darby Township is very, very deep green township. I work my best with the township administration, with my limited resource to fulfill the need of the residents, especially 6 districts. I am very proud to be sitting with these great people over here at the council. And whether we are in the council or not, we will work together for the betterment of this resident of Upper Darby. It's my special thanks to the Honorable Mayor, Barbara Ann Keffer. She have done a lot, and as a council person of District 6, I learned a lot from her. She has always been respected, and she always will be my friend, ever. Lastly, I will be here, whether I'm not in the council, but I will be here, and we'll work together. Any job need to be done for the community. I'll be available, my phone will be open 24/7. Please call me for any reason. Lastly, if any of my action or my body language or by any means, if I hurt anybody, council member or any resident, please forgive me. I asking forgiveness for any shortcoming or anybody get offended by me. And I wish good luck for everyone. And hopefully 2024 will be the great for our resident of Upper Darby. As always, we're going to work together for the betterment of our township. Thank you so much. And once again, the resident of Upper Darby and especially District 6 to give me the opportunity to serve as your council person for last 2 terms. Thank you so much. God bless you all. God bless America.
Thank you.
I have something.
Yeah, sure. No.
I just want to thank each and every one of you guys. I know hasn't been easy and we all disagree to agree and bicker back and forth, but I respect all you guys. And Barbara Ann, best of luck to you. Brian, same. I'm sure we'll see each other. Sadiq, good luck to you in your indoors, whatever you do. And I really do appreciate all you guys. I mean, you work hard and we all know that sometimes this job is thankless, but we do what we do for our residents and for all you guys out there. Thank you for all your support. Thanks to all the support from the people on YouTube. Special shout out to Chase and Dan who watch this every week. I told them I would give a shout out to them and to the residents of the 2nd District.
It's like
Thanks.
Preston and Steve.
He doesn't watch it.
President Burke,
Go ahead.
is that for me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I just wanted to also thank Recovery Without Barriers and Tailor Made Vets for continuing their Jimmy's project to have code blues for when it drops below freezing in our township for those who are living outside. I think it's something that the township should be doing themselves, but since the administration failed to do that, these 2 organizations came together with American Legion Post 214 and created a safe warming space for anyone living outside, and they're continuing that project. I also wanted to clarify something. A few months ago, there had been an announcement by a resident that Archer Epler VFW American Legion Post was closing their doors. That is not true. They are actually in the process of building the memberships of both posts as well as creating an auxiliary for the VFW. So please look, they plan on having events coming up in the next 6 months. There should be an event at the post every month. So if you are a veteran of foreign wars or just a veteran in general and you would like to join a post, please come out and check out Archer Epler. And along with that, I just want to say, President Burke, thank you so much for your leadership, for your guidance. When I spoke of the Finance Committee, I was speaking of you too. You were, as far as I was always concerned, you were a member of the Finance Committee, even though you were, as president, you have the right, you actually are a part of every committee. But you were, thank you for all that you did, all of your guidance, all of your leadership. And I know, as having been council president is not an easy task. So you did a great job, and keep working your magic.
Thank you, Laura.
And you're welcome. And I see Lisa just floated out, but I just want to thank her for all of her hard work over the years. And Councilman Sadiq, good luck in your adventures. And that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Silva before Councilman Tunis. Vice
Sure.
President
I just wanted to say thank you to Alexis for all the times you've answered my calls and never told me explicitly that they were stupid questions, but I appreciate you just answering them because I sort of felt like they might have been, but you never let on, so I appreciate that so much. Councilman Sadiq, I've known you for probably the longest of anybody in this room, and it has been an honor and a privilege to serve alongside you. And you've been more than hospitable and warm to me all the time, and I appreciate that very much. we'll miss working with Lisa too. Actually, that was like not at all anything I expected, but it's been a pretty amazing roller coaster. So that's been lots of fun. And Brian, I got to say, as a leader, you've always instilled confidence in me that I always appreciated that you bring out the good of a lot of people. And so thank you for your time here.
Thanks, Matt.
And Mayor, I appreciate the time being here too. And I've learned a lot. So thank you.
Vice President Tunis?
I just want to make the public aware this Saturday, December 23rd, from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m., Mayor-elect Ed Brown and Men of Action Brothers in Faith, sponsored by Mayor Barbara Keffer, Councilman Heyman, Tunis, Billups, Blackwell, Sadiq, and new council members that just been elected. There will be gift cards for parents, toys for children. If families would like to be sponsored, they can call 484-352-3896. 484-352-3896. It's the 11th annual year they've done it. If you have any questions, you can check on social media at Mayor Lex Brown's Facebook page.
Thank you. Councilwoman Blackwell.
And I just also want to add, tomorrow at 1:00 p.m., we will be distributing hats, gloves, and scarves at 69th Street for anyone who needs or wants it. So again, tomorrow, the 21st at 1:00, we will be distributing winter goods, hats, gloves, hats. Anyone who can participate, please come and do so.
Thank you. I'm glad we're covering old business and new business at the
Thank you.
same time.
This is
Anybody else for old business? For old business?
Daniel?
Yes.
What time?
It's going to be at 1:00.
1:00.
It's the 69th Street Terminal. If you could participate, that would be great.
Anybody for new business? Solicitors report.
Usually ask if anybody has any questions. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to ask if there's any questions. I just want to say to you, this is a dream job for me. Thank you, Mayor Keffer, for giving me this opportunity. I love this. You can still call me in the morning, Lisa, on your way back from the gym. So thank you very much. I'm very happy to serve here. Thank you.
Thank you. 13.0, the Honorable Mayor Barbara Ann Keffer.
Thanks, everybody, for sitting through this. I think I'm going to start at the end. My two daughters are here, my baby sister and my niece. I appreciate you guys coming out. I think it's your first council meeting, isn't it, Stace? Yeah. Well, anyway, so a few housekeeping reminders. First, Christmas and New Year's fall on the next 2 Mondays this year, so please check the trash recycling calendar on the website to see how your collections are affected. I have been blessed with a dedicated and energetic leadership team who have made vast improvements that will benefit their staff and our community for many years to come. There is a long list of accomplishments throughout the administration. I will try to highlight some from each department. In the police department, which is headed by Superintendent Tim Bernhardt, the department is now a qualified, accredited law enforcement department by the Commonwealth. The department has invested in body cameras, a new Sally Port, employs a victim rights advocate, and is home to an office for the Domestic Abuse Project. The department also began initiatives in community policing, such as the TAPS program, which now operates in Upper Darby High School, Bonner Prendy High School, and the Municipal Library on Bywood Avenue. The fire department, first under the stewardship of Chief Sawyer and now Chief Boyce, have improved their ISO rating in the last year's assessment, which demonstrates concrete steps they have taken to increase public safety effectiveness. They've implemented a comprehensive fire code inspection program, a false alarm initiative, and insurance reimbursement procedures, as well as providing monthly and annual reports, which didn't happen before. They have opened their free smoke alarm inspection and installation program to renters in addition to homeowners. In the Public Works Department, under Joe Martin, they have revamped the Sellers Library campus, removing rusted and bent fencing and repairing the barn building. They have expanded the yard waste collections from twice a year to weekly from April to November and save taxpayers tens of thousands of dollars with a new recycling vendor and professional development within the sanitation division. New roofs and solar panels have been installed on this building, the Township Building, and also the Senior Center at Watkins. And the Sellers Library also got a new roof. And the department has worked very cooperatively with the Shade Tree Commission, tree tenders, and other volunteers on the 69th Street project, the Gillespie Park improvements, the Stream Bank Stabilization Project by the Swedish Cabin, and dozens of other projects throughout the township. Another way to track the progress of this administration is by district. In the first district, we completed the Fern Boulevard streetscaping project, which was the first one that we actually completed early in 2020. And the Bloomfield Road extension of the Darby Creek Trail was built and lies in the first district. In the second district, the bridge spanning the Darby Creek at the Swedish Cabin was installed this year, and a recreation trail through Gillespie Park was built. In the third district, there's a new bridge at Drexel Gardens Park, and we also completed a stream bank restoration project there. In the fourth district, traffic calming measures on Parkview and St. Lawrence roads were completed, and we have 2 new basketball hoops at Parkview and Westview playgrounds. In the fifth district, traffic calming measures have been installed on Owen Avenue, and the Clyde and Gisela Hunt Tree Nursery, as well as improvements to existing buildings in Nailers Park Run were completed. In the sixth district, the complete renovation and renaming of the Stonehurst Hills Recreation area was completed this year. Infrastructure improvements to Aberdeen Park and also the Market Powell streetscaping project have been done. And then in the seventh district, stormwater and streetscape improvements to Municipal Parking Lot 1, which is across the street, and around the Township Building on Garrett Road and Long Lane. The facade and streetlight improvement project on the unit block of Garrett Road, it's in the 7th District, and construction of the first phase of the Nailers Run Trail, starting at Chapman Park in the 7th District and continuing to Long Lane in the 6th District, have been completed. Some below-ground initiatives and projects that we have done include bringing Community Action Agency office into Upper Darby. Currently, it is in Murphy's Giving Market on Westchester Pike. I'm a board member of the Community Action Agency, and it's like my top priority was to get that done because their office in, is it Brookhaven or somewhere, is pretty far away for a lot of folks in the county. Boothwyn, right. Thank you. Across all departments, we've made improvements that allow interacting with the public easier with online payments and form options, the ADA Accessible One Center on the ground floor of the Township Building on Garrett Road, which I think almost all of you probably walked through to get up here. The transition to OpenGov, which is 21st century software, has been completed for the Finance Department, led by Diane Scudi, and will continue through each department, including L&I, which is headed by Dan Knowles, and the Department of Community and Economic Development under Rita LaRue. The Department of Leisure Services, led by Bill Kaplan, continues to grow and innovate with new programming since the pandemic, and has recently launched the Office of Community and Cultural Affairs. And I've heard often in this room and elsewhere, maybe more often than I would like, that I don't talk about the good things that are happening here in Upper Darby. And I think about our township Facebook posts, the mayor's messages, which happen twice a month, the website, the monthly e-letters, which you can sign up for through the website, and we have a township YouTube channel. And I know that there is always room for improvement regarding communication, and at the same time, I don't feel like we're operating in a cave. One thing I did innovate was as a pivot from the COVID pandemic is the outdoor neighborhood meetings. We've done a couple dozen of them since 2021, and by we, I mean representatives of the police, fire, public works, and L&I departments, and myself would go to a neighborhood to talk about a local issue like traffic calming or residential permit parking or a recreation trail, and then open the meeting up to department leaders so they can talk about what they do, how to contact the township for various issues and answer residents' questions. And turnout and reception at these meetings We're generally very good, and the creation of these meetings is one of the things of which I'm most proud during my tenure. Like going to the people, beats having the people come here, as you know, and sitting here for sometimes hours on end. Looking back, I'm also proud of the activation of our boards, commissions, and committees. We have met and now work with a broad spectrum of talented people who volunteer their time and energy to various township boards, commissions, and committees, people from all areas of the township and who are not party people. Another highlight of the last 4 years has been working with various local organizations and volunteers on COVID testing and vaccine clinics, the food drives, tree plantings, neighborhood and park cleanups. And we've built a good relationship with the school district as well, to bring summer stage like free kind of tuition for all Upper Darby residents between 10 and 18. All these things form the foundation of the dynamic, engaged Upper Darby community that I know it to be and that I love. I'm heading into the home stretch here with people that I would like to thank. And this is not in any particular order. Alexis Cicchetti and I have been friends for over 20 years. And once she was working for the police department, she's done a fantastic job. I'm really happy that you took the position 4 years ago. I know it took some arm twisting. It's a really tough one. Thank you for your 27 years of service to the township and for your friendship. And I wish you the best going forward. And we'll see each other around. Mike Galante, our energetic and creative engineer, who has made every land development and project better with stormwater and infrastructure improvements, whether it was for the Wawa on Oak Avenue or Drexel Line or the Delaware County Community College. And he worked on a lot of these things with Joe Martin, like the sewer improvements and the ADA ramp program. I'd like to thank state representatives Margot Davidson, Mike Zabel, Gina Curry, Heather Boyd, as well as State Senator Tim Carney and Congresswoman Mary Gay Scanlon for supporting our grant applications and other initiatives which needed the assistance of state and federal government to push them over the finish line. Which brings me to Delaware County Council. I'd like to thank Dr. Monica Taylor, Christine Ruther, Elaine Schaefer, Kevin Madden, and Richard Womack, without whom countless programs, and most notably the Darby Creek Trail and the bridge, would not have happened this quickly. Special thanks also goes out to Vince Rongione, Allison Dobbins, and Scott Alberts, who were a tremendous, incredible help after the 2019 election in the transition, as well as launching and leading my administration. Our entire community went through it in 2020. With the transition, the pandemic, looting, Trashgate, flooding in August. Their hard work and dedication to serving our community and bringing their best every day has made all the difference in shepherding projects to completion and in the daily operations of this entity and towards moving Upper Darby forward. We have a lot of successes to look back on, and I thank you for joining me on this ride. My biggest thanks goes out to my family, my husband John, and my daughters Raylene and Gailey, who have encouraged and supported me the entire way through 2007 and the single stream recycling movement to elected office for the last 10 years, 6 years on council and 4 as mayor. Over the years, we've opened our home for canvas launches, petition, and notarizing party, dozens of meetings. Many people sitting up here have been in our home, and more than one time. We've opened ourselves to a lot of political nonsense that was unnecessary and personal, and ultimately completely unsuccessful. The new mayor and new council should feel very optimistic for their future given the election results in November. Best of luck to Mayor-elect Brown. I've tried to give you the best transition possible, and I'm in your corner as you go forward. And thank you to the voters for giving me the opportunity to serve our community. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Barbara Ann Keffer, Mayor Keffer. I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
9:00.